Hey guys, back with another SuperCoach video. It's been a while and I apologize for that. I put it down to uni and not getting enough time to record, and also a bit of a lack of motivation to record, I guess. When you get another season-ending injury and right before finals as well, it's just really annoying. It's the second year now. It's not going to get much worse than last year, but still, you'd like a full squad come finals time, but again, just wasn't to be. But I'll talk about the season as a whole in a bit. Before I go through the weeks I missed, I'll just go through round 23. So I scored 2,367, moved down just under a couple thousand spots, and I ended at a rank of 7,215. I'll take it. I guess I peaked right before finals, which was unfortunate, but it's definitely not as bad as the drop last year, so I'll definitely take being inside the top 10,000. But unfortunately, 2,367 wasn't enough to win me the grannies in both leagues, losing to Jabin in both. He had a really good season, ranked inside the top 1,000, so good stuff to him. But yeah, just a disappointing, I guess, month to end the season. But yeah, I'll go through the team. Almost forgot the weeks I missed. In round 20, I scored 2,405, round 21, 2,245. So those weeks weren't great, especially in the context of how everyone else went. I dropped quite a lot in both of those weeks. And in round 22, much better week, 2,496. And unfortunately, what my team did in round 22 couldn't be replicated in round 23. A couple of those primos that fired in round 22 really flopped in round 23, so that was unfortunate. But let's move on to the team. I'll go through just their scores for the week. I'll go through their seasons in a little more depth, and how I think they went in a little more depth later on. For this week, Yo was 91, was alright. Simpson, not great, hasn't been for a few weeks. Laird, really good finish to the season. Crisp as well. He had a really good first half. I think he was at around 72 at the half, so quite second half was disappointing, but still a solid score. Savage as the loophole captain, with Rice's 26 on the bench, very, very disappointing, and Hurley as well. The role change since I traded him in, just it hasn't helped my team at all, and for this week especially, just no good. Only a 62. In the midfield, Dangerfield absolutely dominated. Tom Mitchell had the George Hewitt tag, but did pretty well to get a 110 plus. Lockie Neal, he was really, really good. Paddy Cripps, solid end to the season. Clayton Oliver, same goes. Dusty, he was solid as well. Nat Fife, very, very surprising. I'm very disappointed as well. And same with Ed Kerno, very, very disappointing. And pretty disappointing since I traded him in. But yeah, Fife gave up a lot of frees and just wasn't his day. Hasn't had his greatest games against Collingwood this year. Got suspended in the first one and only gets the 66 in the second one, so disappointing by Fife. The Rucks, there's nothing much more to say. Both of them all Australians, and as they should be. Absolutely unbelievable by the both of them. You got a 130 average there and a 127 average, two 150s for the week. Unbelievable. And the forward line, 93 ends Dev Smith's very, very good season. I reckon he should have been an All-Australian, but I don't want to really talk about that because that was a bit of a disaster, I think. But yeah, I don't think Champion Data saw his game the same way as Dream Team's big set of scoring did. Because he got 142 in Dream Team and only a 93 in Supercoach, so it's a bit disappointing. Chad Wingard, really good end to the season. Justin Westhoff, he's had a really good last couple of weeks, bagged 5 against the Bombers, so really good stuff. Isaac Heaney was on fire in the first half. Don't know where he went in the second half, but 93 still solid. Toby McLean was definitely overshadowed by Josh Dunkley in the back half of the season. And Bailey Fritsch, can't expect too much from a rookie, unfortunately. But yeah, disappointing that he had to end the season on a 59 and Ahern on the bench to beat him. But yeah, that will do it for the round 23 team, and we'll move on to the season review. So just like last year, I've got the Excel spreadsheet of the starting team, final team, and trades. Obviously, we'll start with the starting team and final team. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 keepers for the season, which is okay, but considering the names I didn't keep, it looks very disappointing. Hibbard, Josh Kelly, due to injury, named Curvis, I wasn't intending on keeping, but I probably won't go with that strategy again. And in the forward line, Billings, Petrarca, awful picks when I had them, and of course Sicily due to injury. And my keepers were Laird, Savage, but he didn't play during SuperCoach finals, of course. Dangerfield, Martin, Fife, Cripps. Of course, Fife was injured for a chunk of the season. Gawn, McLean, Smith, and Fritsch. In hindsight, I probably should have traded Fritsch around 15, 14, something like that. I'll look through it when I go through my trades. But yeah, compared to the final team where I had Savage and Walters not playing, I had Hurley who didn't go so well. Crisp was okay for a couple games. Curnow didn't go well at all. Neil was great as a trade in Wingard as well. Heaney I probably should have started with. Grundy is just unbelievable throughout the season. No doubt he was going to be a good pick. But yeah, it could have been so much better. Of course, Johan Simpson as well. Very good stuff. Oliver, a lot of trade-ins there. Mitchell should have started with, of course. But yeah, it could have been a lot better throughout the season. Just a couple of 50-50 picks that I've gotten wrong. Just like my captaincy decisions. A lot of them could have been a lot better. But I just made the wrong decision. But let's move on to the trades. I feel like some of this might be a bit of painful for me to look at, considering there are a lot of 50-50 decisions that could have made my season go a lot better, but we'll begin at round 2. Well, round 3, because I didn't make any trades before round 2. So before round 3, Hibbert to Simpson, I'm pretty happy with that. I think some of these trades go down to my starting side, just a couple of starting picks that could have been a lot better and could have made my season a lot better and could have saved me some trades. But moving on, Norton to Bonner. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that. In round 4, Brayshaw to Richards. Brayshaw was a pretty slow burn, and Ed Richards ended up serving me pretty well. And Liam Ryan to Jack Henry, that's just unfortunate. Ryan was going well, but of course the injury curse struck me for the first out of 4 times, as far as I can see. In round 5, LDU to Caulfield. LDU was just a terrible pick. In hindsight, I think when I went Norton to Bonner, I probably should have gone LDU to Fogarty. Would have been a much better rookie pick than what Bonner did for me in the few weeks I had him. And of course, Kelly to Heaney. Happy with the Heaney trade-in. Probably should have started him. And of course, I'm very unhappy with having to trade out Josh Kelly, because some of the games that he played later on in the year kind of reminded me why I picked him in the first place. So it's unfortunate that I had to trade him out due to injury. Round 6, Bonner to Guelphy. Fine with that. Garlett to Oliver. Very happy with Clary as a trade-in. And round 7, Banfield to Dooman. That was okay. Murray to Hurley. That one gets me a lot because I had a chance to trade in Yo. I had a chance to trade in Lloyd. Didn't trade in either. I did trade in Yo later on, of course, but didn't have Lloyd throughout the whole season, who was the #1 averaging defender, of course. So that's a very unfortunate 50-50 decision that didn't go my way. Next round, Finlayson to Spargo. Hindsight, probably should have gone wrong. And Billings to Mitchell. Just shouldn't have started with Billings and should have started with Mitchell. Again, more decisions that I got wrong at the very start of the year. And the next round was Duday to Ronk. And yeah, Duday had a few good weeks after I traded him in, so that was unfortunate for me. And then Dooman to Phillips. I traded out Dooman pretty soon after I traded him in, because think he got dropped at the time. Next round, I did Henry to Tim Smith. I know Henry ended up going pretty well against Carlton, I think it was, as soon as I traded him out, so that was unfortunate. And I didn't start Tim Smith when I first traded him in, and he got, I think, 101. And then I fielded him the next round, and he pumped out a 20, so that was great. And Caulfield to Yo was a good trade in. Next round, Murphy to Rice, that was alright. And Tim Kelly to Walters. Walters, he was very good value at the time. Tim Kelly had a few good weeks. He had a pretty good end to the season, really. So that was unfortunate. But he had to go. I had to get a better M8 for the season. Then I ended up with Kerno, who was pretty bad. But yeah, Walters as a trade-in, I'm not very happy with it in the end. He had a couple of good weeks, but overall it just wasn't good enough. In hindsight, could have gone with someone like Menegola, and he would have fared better. But yeah, what can you do? The next round, we had a couple of rookie trade-ins in Austin and Ahern. A week after, Langdon to Giro, that was fine. Guelphy to Kerno, and Petrarca to Smith. Petrarca had a pretty good stretch after I traded him out, but I just regret starting him in the first place. Trading in Kerno, he was a flop pick in the end. Had a couple of good weeks, but overall he was just a poor selection. The week after, Nank to Grundy. In hindsight, just a lot of changes to my starting side. Could have had Grundy in there, and could have avoided doing the whole name curves to a different ruck thing during the buys, but you know, it's easy to say all this in hindsight. Austin to Wingard. Wingard was a great trade in, very happy with that. And Holman to Treloar, that was just unlucky with Treloar's injury, but Treloar's injury did open up a spot for Lockie Neal, and Neal ended up being a really, really good trade in. And also in that round 15, I did Richards to Petrocelli, and this hurts. It really hurts because right before that Thursday night game, I highly considered Richards to Jack Riewoldt, and we all know what Jack Riewoldt did this year. He ended up winning the Coleman. He was on fire from that Sydney game onwards, and that's when I would have traded him in. So it really hurts that I didn't go with my gut feel and trade him in. And it does teach me the lesson. It seems so obvious, but sometimes your thoughts go different ways. But should have gone with the proven player in Riewoldt rather than keeping Fritsch. I do remember during round 15, I made Fife captain, and that's when he did his hammy, so I got his 43 doubled instead of Mitchell's 181. So that was no good, and that made it consecutive round 15s, where I had a terrible 50-50 captain decision that cost me over 100 points. In 2017, I missed out on Danger's 196 and got Merritt's 92 or whatever it was. And of course this year it was Fife's 43 instead of Mitchell's 181. That was terrible. Hopefully I have a better round 15 next year, and hopefully I just have a better season overall next year. But moving on, round 16, Smith to Westhoff. Westhoff, he was okay. For the majority of the time I had him, it wasn't great considering he didn't ton until the last couple of rounds, but he picked a good time to finally ton up in the last couple of rounds. And of course, the final trade unfortunately had to be a season-ending injury trade, which was trading out Sicily to Jack Crisp. Of course, Sicily might be back for finals, but as far as the Supercoach season goes, it was a season-ending injury. Crisp, he was okay. Had a couple of really poor weeks, had a couple of really good weeks. So I was, on the fence in terms of that pick. Of course, Brayshaw would have been a much better trade-in. And that does it for another Supercoach season. Another season done, another pretty disappointing finish. Not as bad as last year, that's for sure, but pretty disappointing finish. I think my main goal heading into next season is just to have a better starting side. Don't look too much into JLT, just use those JLT matches to look at the rookies, because the premiums are proven, that's for sure. They'll do their job throughout the regular season. It's all about the rookies, really. I'd also like to say thanks if you stuck around throughout the whole season. I know I missed a lot of weeks late in the season, but I had to get a season review in, that's for sure. So that will do it for another year of SuperCoach. I don't know what video I'm going to upload next, but we'll see how it happens. But yeah, that will do it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.